You've probably met someone like this. They walk into a room and instantly make people feel heard, safe, and respected without needing to dominate the conversation or overshare their emotions. They're not cold, not overly chatty, but everyone walks away thinking, I like that person. That right there is emotional intelligence. Not the loud kind, the stealth kind. Here's the twist. Emotional intelligence isn't about being nice, or agreeable, or zen 24/7. It's about self awareness and emotional regulation. It's about reading people without playing mind games. It's about having access to your feelings without letting them own you. Most people confuse EQ with performative empathy. The truth? The real stuff is so subtle, you won't notice it until it's not there. So in this video, we're walking through 7 subtle behaviors that reveal high emotional intelligence. The ones people rarely talk about, the ones that don't get romanticized on social media, and the ones that, when practiced consistently, can turn you into the calmest, most trustworthy person in any room. Not by force, but by presence. Ready to find out what they are? Let's start with number 1. Spoiler, it's not making eye contact or giving hugs. Behavior 1. They pause before reacting. High EQ people rarely respond immediately. It's not that they don't have opinions or emotions, it's that they know those initial reactions are often ego based. They pause, not out of fear, but out of mastery. According to research from the American Psychological Association, taking just a 6-second pause before responding can reduce emotional reactivity by over 60%. That's massive. They're not suppressing their feelings, they're observing them in real time. Someone says something disrespectful, instead of snapping, they breathe. Someone challenges their idea, instead of defending, they listen. This kind of pause isn't weak, it's powerful because it means you're choosing your response. And in a world that rewards instant reactions, that kind of restraint is rare. Have you ever noticed how magnetic someone becomes when they don't flinch under pressure? When they don't rush to fill silence? When they don't need to defend every idea, every feeling, every decision? That's the power of the pause. Not silence for the sake of it, but silence with intention. Behavior 2. They read the room without making it about them. There's a kind of person who walks into a room and changes the energy. Not by being the loudest, but by being the most attuned. These people can tell when someone's uncomfortable, even when they're smiling. They can sense the moment before the vibe shifts. They're not psychic, they're just paying attention to tone, rhythm, and body language. What makes this special? They don't use that awareness to center themselves. They don't hijack the moment with, you look upset. Was it something I did? Or, I totally get it. I had a bad day too. They observe, they adjust, and they do it quietly. It's not emotional manipulation, it's emotional attunement. Most people enter a room and think, how do I fit in? High EQ people enter and ask, what's happening here? And how can I add value without overstepping? Big difference. Behavior 3. They let silence do the heavy lifting. Emotionally intelligent people aren't afraid of silence. Most of us were raised to fill the gaps, to talk more when we're nervous, or over explain when we feel misunderstood. But high EQ people, they know that silence is a tool. In interviews, negotiations, conflict, silence gives you room for honesty to surface. It disarms defensiveness, it invites real answers. A study from Harvard Business Review found that salespeople who embrace pauses during client calls had 23% higher close rates. Why? Because silence makes people think. And when you don't rush to speak, People assume you're grounded, even if you're nervous inside. Want to appear confident in any room? Master the art of the pause, not just after you speak, but after they speak. Give their words space to breathe. Let the conversation settle. That's where truth lies. Behavior 4. They ask unusual, insightful questions. Most people ask, "So, what do you do? Busy day? Did you see that thing on Instagram?" But emotionally intelligent people go deeper. Without making it awkward, they ask, "What's something you've been overthinking lately? What gives you energy lately? What's one thing you're secretly excited about?" These questions bypass the surface. They signal curiosity, not performance. And the best part? They don't ask just to be liked. They ask to understand. Stephen Covey once said, "Most people don't listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply." But high EQ people don't do that. They aren't waiting for their turn to talk. They're absorbing because your answer teaches them how to relate to you. And now that we're here, quick pause for the emotionally intelligent among us. If you're finding this valuable, if you've already paused the video once to reflect or saved a quote for later, take a second and subscribe. Alright, back to it. And buckle up. Number 5 might hit close to home. Behavior 5. They regulate, not suppress, their emotions. There's this myth that emotionally intelligent people never feel angry, jealousy, or anxiety, that they're just floating through life in monk mode. Nope. They feel it all. The difference is they know what to do with it. Let's break it down. Suppression is pretending you're fine when you're absolutely not. Regulation is noticing your emotion, understanding the why, and choosing a response that honors the feeling without making others responsible for it. Think about it. You're in a meeting, and someone cuts you off. Do you snap? Do you stew quietly? Or do you say, "I'd love to finish the point I was making"? Calmly, directly, no drama? That's regulation. That's emotional weightlifting. And it builds trust fast. It's easy to explode or implode. It's hard to hold the tension in the middle. But people who can do that, who can feel things without being ruled by them, they walk differently, speak differently, and most importantly, they recover faster. Brené Brown puts it like this: "We cannot selectively numb emotions. When we numb the painful, we also numb the positive." Emotionally intelligent people don't numb, they transmute. They alchemize fear into strategy, hurt into boundaries, frustration into focus. That's not self-help fluff. That's neuroscience. Behavior 6. They don't make it about themselves. Ever tried telling someone about a struggle only for them to reply, "Oh my God, same thing happened to me. Here's what I did." And suddenly the conversation is about them again? High EQ people resist that urge. They know how to hold space. They don't interrupt. They don't compare. They let you have your moment because they don't need to prove they relate. They're comfortable not being the center of attention. That's rare. Most people are conversational narcissists, not maliciously, but because they're insecure. Emotionally intelligent people don't need to insert themselves to feel significant. They already know they matter. Psychologist Michael Formica says, "Listening is a form of love." When someone truly listens, without jumping in, fixing, or flipping the script, it communicates, "You matter. Right now, this is about you." That's the real flex. That's EQ. And before we hit number 7, let me ask you this. When's the last time you let someone speak without thinking of what you'd say next? When's the last time you let silence stretch longer than your comfort zone allowed? That's the difference between emotional intelligence and emotional performance. One's about them, ones about you. Behavior 7. They can disagree without disrespect. This might be the most underrated behavior of all. Emotionally intelligent people can say, I see it differently. Here's another angle. I disagree with that part, but I hear you. All without making you feel stupid, dismissed, or attacked. And that's hard, because disagreement usually activates defensiveness. But high EQ folks, they stay in the pocket. They separate the person from the point. They focus on ideas, not identities. That makes conversations feel safer, even when they're intense. A 2022 study from UC Berkeley found that teams with high emotional intelligence resolve conflicts 40% faster than those with lower EQ scores, not because they avoided tough conversations, but because they knew how to navigate them without ego. Think about what that does in real life. In partnerships, it means fewer passive-aggressive fights. At work, it means clear meetings. In friendships, it means nobody's walking on eggshells. Emotional intelligence doesn't make you conflict-free. It makes you conflict-resilient. And that right there, that's where your peace lives. In not needing to be right, in not needing to dominate, in simply being anchored, no matter what the conversation is. Let's take a second to recap everything we've covered, because this stuff isn't just a checklist, it's a map, a way of being. Here's your recap. 7 subtle behaviors of high EQ people. 1. They pause before reacting. 2. They read the room without making it about them. 3. They let silence do the heavy lifting. 4. They ask thoughtful, connective questions. 5. They regulate, not suppress, their emotions. 6. They don't make everything about themselves. 7. They can disagree without disrespect. If you're thinking, okay, I do some of these, but not consistently, that's perfect. This isn't about perfection, it's about practice. Emotional intelligence isn't a personality trait, it's a skill, a set of decisions, tiny, everyday, micro choices. That's what makes it powerful. It's trainable. You don't need to be born a people person. You don't need to be an extrovert. You don't need to be chill all the time. You just need to be self-aware enough to pause, curious enough to ask better questions, humble enough to listen, and brave enough to say, I feel that, and here's how I'll move forward anyway. That's the heartbeat of emotional intelligence. It's not about being liked. It's about being trusted. And nothing is more magnetic than that. The crazy thing is, the more emotionally intelligent you become, the less reactive the world feels. Things stop happening to you and start happening around you. Because now, you're not tossed by every comment. You're not drained by every awkward moment. You're the calm center of it all. And that kind of presence, that quiet, grounded energy, that's what people remember. Not your volume, not your credentials, not your clever one-liners. They remember how they felt around you. And emotional intelligence makes them feel safe, seen, and respected. If this landed for you, if something shifted just a little while watching, here's your next step. Pick one behavior from the list. Just one. Try it today, in a real moment, with a real person. Even if it feels awkward, especially if it feels awkward. Because awareness without action is just performance. But awareness with action, that's transformation. That's growth from the inside out. And that's what we're here for. Still here? Subscribe. Let's keep going.